right, so if you have a form that you've made in Word or you've scanned that you want to convert into a digitally fillable form, if you have Adobe Acrobat Pro, it's very easy to do. You just come over to Tools and you hit Prepare Form. You can select the form you want or bring in something else, and then just hit Start, and it will automatically try and figure out where you need things filled in, and then it will actually even name the fields based on whatever is to the left of it. So you can see in this case, it's missed quite a bit of stuff here, so we're going to have to go in and do it manually. And then also these, although they say date, are not actually date fields, meaning that you can't just like click and then select a date, which I guess the way they are now, you could manually type it in, but that's kind of a pain. So I'm going to just delete these. And then if we want to add in a date form, a date field, I mean, you can click on this little calendar icon and it'll bring up a little dialog box, and then you can just size that to however you want it. And now that is a date field, meaning that I'll show you in a minute, I can just click on it and it'll bring up the date. So if you want to add a digital signature area, you can click the signature thing here and add it in. I'm not going to do that right now because I expect people to print this and then sign it physically. So what I want to do is maybe add in some just regular text fields here. I'm just going to drop it in here, say class 1, okay? And then I'll just keep doing that for the rest of these. One thing you can't do, well, I suppose you could, but one thing you don't want to do, or you have to be careful with, is copying, Control C I'm going to hit, and then pasting, because now you can see those are both class 1. So if I fill in class 1, then it's going to fill in this one ought to be exactly the same, and I can't do them differently. So I actually have to put a new instance of this or rename it or something so that it knows these are different fields. So I'm just going to drag in a new one here, and we'll call this one class 2. Okay, and I'll show you how that works in just a minute. And if I did want to copy and paste it, so I could do Control C and Control V, and you can see it's class 2, but now I'm just going to rename this. I'm going to come and right click, rename, and it'll bring up a dialog box here. Oh, it's renaming here, so let's do class 3. Okay, so that should make sure they're different. Okay, so now let's just hit close, and you can see, so we can type in here. This is a date field, so I can click this drop menu and select the date. And if I do class 1, because remember this one under class 2, I did the same field. So if I do that, you can see it automatically propagates. And so if I change something here, and then it's going to change that one. So they have to be different. So these ones you can see I named them different. So it's going to select them differently. And then these are all tabbable. So you can just hit tab and get between these quickly. So if you change, if you want to edit this or do something different, make sure you delete all this stuff, because you want to have, a master one that's not pre-filled in. I'm just going to delete all this. Okay, so I'm going to come back here to Tools, Prepare Form, and it will bring me right back into this editor where I can go back in and add checkboxes or buttons or whatever else I need. And then once you're done, of course, just save it. Then you'll have that master version. And then when you want to fill it in, you just fill it in and then save it as a new file name.